So we know the electric eel gets its name because its ability to send off electrical pulses throughout the water column, and it does this for two reasons. One, to navigate throughout his environment. The other is to shock his prey. In the past, we've devised a speaker system that allows us to listen to these electrical pulses. In fact, the clicking that you're hearing right now is the noise that the electric eel is making, putting out little pulses. Now, in the past, I have touched the electric eel, and these guys can put out upwards of 600 volts of electricity once they reach adult size. My question is, how much electricity is the eel putting out when he's simply navigating? But even more interesting, how many volts of electricity is he using when he shocks his prey? So I picked up a cheap multimeter. Mind you, this is a cheap one, and it's going to have some delay, and it probably should be calibrated. However, I've been using it for a few days, and I'm able to get rough averages of how many volts of electricity he's putting out when navigating and when he shocks his prey. Mind you, none of the probes actually touch the eel when he's shocking. And he didn't do his typical freak out session where he's just going and buzzing nonstop, simply because he wasn't that hungry. I might be overfeeding him lately, but it is fun to feed him. So now let's take a listen and see what happens. So on average, those little clicks we're hearing are putting out about 5 volts of electricity, I'd say. And when he's shocking his prey, upwards of 25. Now, mind you, these are just tiny little buzzes that he's giving it, but when I was testing this system and seeing if it would work and measure the electricity that he was putting out over 100. Now, what will I do with this information? Probably nothing. Fish keepers are kind of nerdy and weird, and we just like to know this type of information about our fish. Also, it was a nice little side mission and distraction from what really needed to be done. And that is, take out the ambulia from my 700-gallon aquarium. Why? It has completely overtaken it. And because it's overshadowing absolutely every other plant in there, it's slowly killing them off. We can't see the fish, and the fish can't find their food. I can keep this plant in, and I would have to obviously continuously trim it, but again, this is a 700-gallon tank. It's 8 feet long and 5 feet wide, 28 inches deep. It's relatively impossible to get down into it unless you're going to dunk your head every other day to trim it. I did have to drain the tank by about 50%. And honestly, because this is a stem plant, typically speaking, it just grows upwards. And in order to propagate a stem plant, you've got to trim it, cut it in half, or whatever you prefer to do, and take that other half that you cut off and replant it somewhere else in the aquarium. But what I'm finding with this stuff is that it has the ability to kind of grow to the surface of the tank, fall over and start growing throughout the rest of the aquarium, making it incredibly invasive. Typically speaking, with stem plants, we've got to trim them because if you don't, the only thing that's going to grow and be lush will be the top of it. Underneath of it will be void of light and won't need any leaves. Think of it like a tree. The trunk grows up and up top will be the canopy of leaves and branches. I did not find that to be the case with this plant in this aquarium. I have seen it die off in other tanks if not trimmed, but in the 700 it seems to just grow and grow and grow, being incredibly lush. I did like the abundant color that it offers, and I think I'm going to take out everything that I did, float it in the 2000 for now, and I have plans to do some planting of that in another tank where it can go crazy and we won't care. And this is the 700 gallon now. Now, if we don't move, we'll be able to see some of the fish. They're literally in shock. They went from having such a closed-in space to now everything is out in the open. We have over 200 tetras in here, and you don't see a single one. Well, they're all still kind of hiding, and you've seen in past clips and whatnot that you'll be able to see them. Look, you can see some of the catfish, and yeah, we've got to give this a few days for the fish to kind of settle in. I've also kept the lid off of the tank just to help the plants rebound a little faster and grow. But you'll notice that we have a lot of empty places in here because that Ambulia literally robbed these plants of light, kind of killing them off. This is a cute little Anubias up front though, isn't it? Look how dense the plants are in this tank. This is cryptocorin, and that's about as high as it's going to grow. We also have some dwarf chains and some dwarf Sagittaria in here. We still do have a little Bambulia in there, and I left it in there. You'll also notice though, and I didn't mean to leave it in there, I just couldn't see it. But you'll also know that I'm a sucker for punishment, and if we kind of look in the tank, you'll notice I put in some Valisaria in there. I thought I'd rather have this grow and kind of, because the wave maker's coming this way, I'd rather kind of grow like this and we can at least pull it out or trim it. I like that plant a lot better. This stuff is just crazy. I never planted any of this here, not even here, but you can see how it falls over and it just starts putting out its own little plants everywhere. I didn't plant it here. I put some back over there, and I put a little bit over here, and that was it. The fact that it's in the middle and even in the front has nothing to do with me. But if I pull this out, which I should, I'll do it the next water change, but I'll pull this little plant out here, and what we'll see is a trail of them come pulling out all over the place. It's almost like one big connected plant. Very cool. Look, we've got a Siamese algae right there. Yeah, imagine that. Hundreds of fish in here, but we see like what? Maybe 10, 15 discus over here. I can see some angels peeking out over there. As for the plants, where did they go? In the 2000. They're just kind of floating in there for now because I want to save them and use them for something else. Look how gorgeous that Geophagus is right now. Whew. Absolutely beautiful with its little girlfriend right beside him. I don't know if you can see. Yeah, it's kind of blocking out the light. I want to plant this tank. The piranha tank's got to be done next, but this is more of an example of what happens with some of them. They'll start getting like no leaves at the bottom. I need to rip it all out of here. I never planted it in the middle, remember? I never did that. But how the heck do I pull it out with all these piranha darting around like that? Yeah, always kind of like fiddling around and doing some things. Oh, and the piranha will try to help me by ripping it up on their own. Yeah, this tank is looking absolutely beautiful. I definitely enjoy it. I really like it. But all of these plants got to come out, and I'm also thinking about taking all these rocks out. But I can't do it with the piranha in there. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Over 20. I don't know how many, though. The gallery in whole, remember one of the last videos we tidied these tanks up? All the tanks are doing fine. Oh, and we added all those shrimp. You can still kind of see them in there. A little better these days. Give that some more time. The Tropheus tank is doing well. It's just kind of messy out here because I'm working on other projects. I still got to bring this tank out here, get that one up and going. That's a saltwater tank. This is his. It's for him. He's been living in this tiny little tank for a couple months, but we'll get it done in due time. This tank I got to do next. This is the rope fish tank. We got to trim some of this valve. But this is 16 inches tall, right? And if we look, like where some of these plants are, that's going up 16 inches, and then the tank's 4 feet, and it's got to be going across 2 feet. So that valve is easily growing to 3 feet in length. It would almost be more beneficiary to plant the 2000 with valve. Be very cool. And then Tyrese's tank. Guys, I want to put Tyrese in the 700. I want to end this video right there. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. He's been with fish in the past. He's done really well with other fish in the past. He's incredibly friendly, and I think he'd do just well in there. The other fish in there are too too fast for him to eat, and the other guys are too big for him to attack, and there's nothing in there that would bug him. And doesn't he deserve to go in the 700? And I don't know what we do with this tank, but I hate it because it's just a mess of plants and a little bit of algae and whatnot. I mean, if the plants are growing and they're healthy, it's fine. But let me know what you thought about this little contraption that we made. This is all the stuff right here. No, I don't leave it running 24/7 because it's annoying. Yeah, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you subscribe if you're not already. I'm just kind of tinkering around out here this week. In the new year, we're going to hit the ground running. Got a lot of things we got to catch up on and do. But, oh, you know what we should do? Just stay there for a second. I want to prove that there's fish in here. Because every time I make a video, where's this fish and where's that fish? Oh, I don't usually buy bloodworms, but I did the other day because all fish will come out and eat that stuff. They do have an automated feeder on here as well, but let's see how many of these, well, the discus and angels, and I know the tetras are going to come out and swarm. So they do have like a cheap little Temu feeder on there that's feeding them. Oh, it needs to be refilled. But if I put a handful of bloodworms in my hands, this is how I kind of do this. I put my hand in front of this pump, right? And once it starts defrosting, it's going to start blowing the bloodworms everywhere. And if I'm lazy, I just put them on the outside of the pump, like that. And now it's like an automated distributor for me, where it's going to defrost the bloodworms and blow them throughout the whole tank. Now, we got to stand back because everybody hates me, and I'm not allowed to look at my own fish, but here they come. That's the worst part about doing big things to a tank, is sometimes the fish just don't want to come out. But told you, look at all the tetras. Why are they acting like that? Guys, you're all full grown. You're absolutely massive. You shouldn't be. Oh, here's a couple of Ultim Angels over here. That's a pair. And no more discus, obviously, right? Meanwhile, there was 10 over there. Look, if you look, there's a discus right there. They just go everywhere. Oh, there's another one poking his head out. They're just difficult to see. Maybe you guys can see them and I can't, because I'm colorblind, so a lot of the times it all kind of looks the same to me. I think it's hilarious how they poke their heads out, though. But yeah, lots of fish in here, guys. Lots of discus. Everybody's doing okay. It's just a matter of getting them to come out. Obviously, we just destroyed their entire world, and now they've got to kind of acclimate to that and get used to it. But here comes that beautiful pair of Ultims. The boys in the front, girls in the back. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. We'll just wait a couple more minutes. I want the discus to come out. Like, okay, I see 1, 2, 3, another one over here, 4. I thought I saw a glimpse. Let's just sneak over. There's what else we got on the go, guys? Where's all my cats? There's another Ultim, pearls. See, they'll hide everywhere. Look, one right in there. Oh, where he's going? Where he's going? Come back. The most beautiful aquarium that I've had, well, not the most, but one of the most beautiful aquariums that I had, and one of the most frustrating as well. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next year.